students, today I'll explain you this chapter, the tsunami. Okay, so here it's written here that a tsunami is a very large and powerful wave caused by earthquakes under the sea on 26 December 2004. Okay, a tsunami hit Thailand and parts of India such as the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and the Tamil Nadu coast. Okay, so here are some stories of courage and survival. Okay, so these stories are all from the Andaman and Nicobar archipelago. Ig- Ignatius was the manager of a cooperative society in Kachal. His wife woke him up at 6 a.m. because she felt an earthquake. Okay, so Ignatius carefully took his television set off its table and put it down on the ground so that it would not fall and break. Then the family rushed out of the house. Okay, so here archipelago means a group of many islands and the surrounding sea. Okay, and cooperative society means a cooperative society is an autonomous association of persons united voluntarily to meet their common economic, social, and cultural needs. Okay, and aspirations through a jointly owned and democratically controlled enterprise. Okay, so now I'll tell you that this lesson begins with the narratives of people in the Andaman and Nicobar group of islands. Okay, when it was hit by a tsunami on December 26, 2004. Okay, so first is the account of a manager of the cooperative society in Kachal and one of the islands at Nicobar, and his name was Ignatius. Okay, and at around 6 in the morning his wife felt an earthquake and she woke him up immediately. Okay, so Ignatius kept the television set on the floor to prevent it from breaking by falling off the table. Then they immediately evacuated the house. Okay, when the tremors stopped, okay, they saw the sea rising. Okay, they saw the sea rising. In the chaos and confusion, two of his children caught hold of the hands of their mother's father and mother's brother and rushed in the opposite direction. Okay, he never saw them again. His wife was also swept away. Only the three other children who came with him were saved. Okay, so here when the tremors stopped, okay, tremor means a slight shake. Okay, like earth tremors, the earth's shake during an earthquake, right? And chaos means complete disorder or confusion. Okay, like or confusion. Okay, so now as soon as the earthquake came to rest, the sea began to rise, and out of sheer disorder and confusion, two of his children held hands with their mother's father and mother's brother. Okay, and they ran to save themselves from the web, but unfortunately Ignatius could never see them again. The waves swallowed his wife too, and in the end only him and his three children who stayed with him could be saved. Okay, so now Sanjeev was a policeman serving in the Kachal island of the Nicobar group of island, and he somehow managed to save himself, his wife, and his baby daughter from the waves. Okay, but then he heard cries for help from the wife of John, the guest house cook, and Sanjeev jumped into the water to rescue her, but they were both swept away. And near here, guest house means a private house offering accommodation to paying guests. Okay, so Sanjeev was a policeman in Kachal. Okay, managed to save himself and his family, and he had a wife and baby daughter. Okay, but he saw the wife of his guest house cook John crying for help. Okay, so he jumped into the water to save her, but unfortunately both of them were drowned. Okay, they were all taken away by the water. Okay, and 13-year-old Meghna was swept away along with her parents and 77 other people. She spent 2 days floating in the sea, holding on to a wooden door. 11 times she saw relief helicopters overhead, but they did not see her. She was brought to the shore by a wave and was found walking on the seashore in a daze. Okay, so here relief helicopters means helicopters bringing help to people, like during floods. Okay, and daze, seashore in a daze. Daze means a state of stunned confusion or bewilderment. Okay, so now the waves also took along with them a 13-year-old teenager named Meghna and her parents with 77 more people. Okay, it turned out that Meghna managed to stay alive by holding on to a wooden door. She kept floating in the water for 2 days, and during those 2 days, she noticed the relief helicopters at least 11 times. Okay, but unfortunately, they could not detect her. She was finally carried to the seashore by a wave. Okay, and she was found only when she was walking at shore in complete confusion and shock. Okay, so now Alma's Jabez was 10 years old. She was a student of Carmel Convent in Port Blair, where her father had a petrol pump. Her mother, Rahila's home was in Nankauri Island. Okay, the family had gone there to celebrate Christmas. When the tremors came early in the morning, the family was sleeping. Okay, and Alma's father saw the seawater recede. He understood that the water would come rushing back with great force. He woke everyone up and tried to rush them to a safer place. Okay, so Port Blair. Okay, Port Blair is the capital city of Andaman and Nicobar Island. Okay, a union territory of India in the Bay of Bengal. Okay, and Nankauri Island, an island in the central part of the Nicobar Island. Okay, and recede means move back from where it was. Okay, whenever a tsunami comes, firstly the water moves back. After that, it just comes in one go. Okay, that is known as recede. So now 10 years old, Almas Javed's father owned a petrol pump in Port Blair, okay, and there she studied at the Carmel convent. The family had come to her mother's home in the Nankauri Island, okay, an island in the central part of the Nicobar Island, okay, to celebrate Christmas. On the day of the disaster, the whole family was sleeping when tremors came early in the morning, okay, and it was only when Alma's father saw the seawater move back, he anticipated that it would come back with an unusually great force. So he immediately woke everyone up and hurried them to a secure place out of harm's way. Okay. So as they ran, her grandfather was hit on the head by something and he fell down. And her father rushed to help him. Then came the first giant wave that swept both of them away. Okay. Alma's mother and aunts stood clinging to the leaves of a coconut tree, calling out to her. Okay. And the wave uprooted the tree and the two were washed away. Okay. So here क्लिंगिंग मीन्स होल्ड ऑन टाइटली. ओके, जब आप किसी चीज को बहुत जकड़ के पकड़ते हो तो उसे हम कहेंगे क्लिंगिंग. ओके, एंड अपरूटेड मीन्स पुल. ओके, like especially a tree or a plant gets uprooted during tsunamis and all. Okay, out of the ground, जड़ से उखाड़ देना को बोलते uprooted. Okay, so now as they ran out of harm's way, Alma's grandfather got hit by something and he fell down. And in an attempt to give him a hand, Alma's father ran towards him. And as the first enormous wave came, it took both of them with it. Okay. On the other hand, Alma's mother and aunts held onto the leaves of a coconut tree, calling for her. Okay. A strong wave came and took them with it too, as it uprooted the tree out of the ground. जो ट्री को पकड़ के बैठे थे वो अलमास का मम्मी, तो उस ट्री को भी जड़ से उखाड़ दिया और वो लोग चले गए उस वेब से ही, उस ट्री से ही. ओके, so Alma saw a log of wood floating. She climbed onto it, then she fainted. Okay, when she woke up, she was in a hospital in Kamorta. From there, she was brought to Port Blair. Okay, the little girl does not want to talk about the incident with anyone. She is still traumatized. Okay, so now Kamorta is one of the Nicobar Islands. Okay, and traumatized means greatly shocked and distressed. Okay, so now Almas climbed on a log of wood she saw before she fainted. As she regained consciousness, she found herself in a hospital in Kamorta, an island in Nicobar. Okay, the girl was brought to Port Blair and she is deeply shocked by the incident. She got distressed to the extent that she did not want to discuss the episode with anyone. Okay, because she lost her family, she lost her mother, she lost her everyone, right? So she was in great shock. Okay, so now we'll go to part 2. Okay, so part 2, Tilly Smith. A British schoolgirl was able to save many lives when the tsunami struck Phuket Beach in Thailand. Though she has won a number of awards, her parents have not allowed the daughter to be interviewed on television and made into a heroine. Okay, now here is a story from Thailand. The Smith family from Southeast England were celebrating Christmas at a beach resort in southern Thailand. Okay, Tilly Smith was a 10-year-old schoolgirl. Her sister was 7 years old. Their parents were Penny and Colin Smith. Okay, it was 26 December 2004. Deadly tsunami waves were already on their way. They had been triggered by a massive earthquake off northern Sumatra earlier that morning, and the water was swirling and kept coming in. Penny Smith remembered the beach was getting smaller and smaller. I did not know what was happening. Okay, so here resort means a place where people go on a holiday. Okay, and Sumatra, it is a large Indonesian island. Okay, so now the tsunami hit areas of Thailand as well. The story is about the Smith family who came to southern Thailand from southeast England to celebrate Christmas at a beach resort. Okay, Penny and Colin Smith had two daughters, Tilly Smith, a 10-year-old schoolgirl, and the other one was 7 years old. Okay, on the day of December 26, 2004, they had already experienced an earthquake in the morning. Now the tsunami was on its way. Penny Colin remembers seeing the water swelling as it kept coming in and making the beach smaller. Okay, so she says she did not understand what was happening, but Tilly Smith sensed that something was wrong. Okay, her mind kept going back to a geography lesson she had taken in England just 2 weeks before she flew out to Thailand with her family. Tilly saw the sea slowly rise and start to foam, bubble, and form whirlpools. Okay, so now she remembered that she had seen this in class in a video of tsunami that had hit the Hawaiian island in 1946. Her geography teacher had shown her class the video and told them that tsunamis can be caused by earthquakes, volcanoes, and landslides. Okay, so now whirlpools means a quickly rotating mass of water in a river or sea into which objects may be drawn, typically caused by the meeting of conflicting currents. Okay, so now Tilly on the other hand knew that something was not wrong. She could recollect what she had studied in a geography class back in England 2 weeks before she came to England for a vacation. Before she came to Thailand, okay, for a vacation. And as she saw the seawater rising and forming whirlpools, she recalled what she had seen in her class. It was a video of a tsunami that had hit the Hawaiian Islands in 1946. Okay. The teacher also told them the causes of tsunamis, which can be earthquakes, volcanoes, and landslides. Okay, so now Tilly started to scream at her family to get off the beach. She talked about an earthquake under the sea. She got more and more hysterical, said her mother, Penny. I did not know what a tsunami was, but seeing my daughter so frightened, I thought something serious must be going on. Okay, so now, and more hysterical. Hysterical means affected by or deriving from uncontrolled emotion. When you are in hysterical, you shout, you laugh or cry in a wild, excited way, okay, without any control over yourself. Like, you scream. Yes. As soon as she realized what was happening, she started shouting at her family to get away from the beach, okay? And her mother later said that she was referring to some earthquake under the sea and she got terrified and uncontrollable. Penny said she did not know what a tsunami was, but seeing her daughter so terrified, she could anticipate that the situation was grave, okay? So, Tilly's parents took her and her sister away from the beach to the swimming pool at the hotel. A number of other tourists also left the beach with them. Then it was as if the entire sea had come out after them. I was screaming, run. The family took refuge in the third floor of the hotel. The building withstood the surge of 3 tsunami waves. If they had stayed on the beach, they would not have been alive. So refuge here means shelter or protection from danger. Okay, withstood means endured without collapsing. Okay, and force means momentum. Okay, so now Tilly's parents took their daughters to the hotel swimming pool to get away from the beach. A number of tourists also followed them. Then they saw great waves coming after them as if it were the whole sea that had come out. Okay, Penny screamed for everyone to run out of danger's way. They took shelter on the third floor. The hotel building survived 3 tsunami waves. She further added that they would not have been able to come out alive had they been at the beach. Okay, so now the Smiths later met other tourists who had lost entire families. Thanks to Tilly and a geography lesson, they had been forewarned. Tilly went back to her school in England and told her classmates her terrifying tale. Okay, so forewarned means inform someone of a possible future danger or problem. Okay, so now the Smith family later got the chance of meeting other tourists who had lost their entire families during the tsunami, and all credit to Tilly and a geography lesson that they were forewarned. Okay, so Tilly later retold the incident to her classmates in England. Okay, so before the before the giant waves slammed into the coast. Okay, now I'm going to the third part of the story. Okay, so before the giant waves slammed into the coast in India and Sri Lanka, wild and domestic animals seemed to know what was about to happen. They fled to safety, and according to eyewitness accounts, elephants screamed and ran for higher grounds. Dogs refused to go outdoors. Flamingos abandoned their low-lying breeding areas, and zoo animals rushed into their shelters and could not be enticed to come out. Okay, so slammed means hit something with great force. Fled means to run away from a place or situation of danger. Okay, eyewitness means a person who has seen something happen and can give a first-hand description of it. Okay, entice means attract or tempt by offering pleasure or advantage. Okay, it is believed that prior to the gigantic waves entering the coast of India and Sri Lanka, wild and domestic animals knew what was ahead. This is because they ran out of dangerous way to somewhere safe. A few eyewitnesses gave a first-hand description of how elephants ran for higher ground as they screamed. Flamingos too left their low-lying breeding grounds. Zoo animals ran into their shelters, and no amount of temptation was able to bring them out. Even dogs refused to go outdoors. Okay. So now, many people believe that animals possess a sixth sense and know when the earth is going to shake. Some experts believe that animals' more acute hearing helps them to hear or feel the earth's vibration. They can sense an approaching disaster long before humans realize what's going on. We cannot be sure whether animals have a sixth sense or not, but the fact is that the giant waves that rolled through the Indian Ocean killed more than 150,000 people in a dozen countries, but not many animals have been reported dead. Okay, so now sixth sense means a supposed intuitive faculty giving awareness not explicable in terms of normal perception. Okay, and acute hearing means reacting readily to stimuli or impressions. Sensitive, okay, means acute hearing. Okay, it is well known among people that animals are intuitive towards the earth shaking, and some experts are of the opinion that they can hear or feel earth vibration in advance because they possess enhanced acute hearing abilities. Okay, that is why they can perceive an approaching disaster a lot earlier than humans. It is quite obvious that we cannot say surely that animals are intuitive and can sense the disaster early on, but the evidences quite point towards it. Fact says that gigantic waves of the Indian Ocean took 150,000 human lives, but not many animals were reported dead. Okay, so now along India's Kudalore coast, where thousands of people perished, buffaloes, goats, and dogs were found unharmed. The Yala National Park in Sri Lanka is home to a variety of animals, including elephants, leopards, and 130 species of birds. Okay, 60 visitors were washed away from the Patanangala beach inside the park, but no animal carcasses were found. Except for two water buffaloes. About an hour before the tsunami hit, people at Yala National Park had observed three elephants running away from the Patanangala beach. Okay, so perish means to die, especially in a violent or sudden way. Okay, and carcasses means the dead body of an animal is known as carcasses. Okay, so now, at India's Kudalore coast, where the waves took the lives of around 1,000 people, animals like buffalo, goats, and dogs were recovered unharmed. On the other hand, in Yala National Park in Sri Lanka, 60 visitors got taken away by the water, while no animals were harmed except two water buffaloes. Okay, a point to be noted here is that Yala National Park serves as a home to a large number of animals like elephants, leopards, and around 130 species of birds. In fact, people present at the Yala National Park reported seeing three elephants run away from the Patanangala beach at least an hour before the waves came in. Okay, so a Sri Lankan gentleman, okay, a Sri Lankan gentleman who lives on the coast near Gale said his two dogs would not go for the daily run on the beach. They are usually excited to go on this outing, he said, but on that day they refused to go and most probably saved his life. Okay, so now a Sri Lankan gentleman who lived on the coast near Gale said his two dogs always used to go for their walk or daily run on the beach. Okay, but they usually used to be so excited to run on the beach. Okay, but this particular day they refused to go and they saved their master's life. Okay,